tease it. Tell the DJ, rewind it, bust a sweat and work it. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. From Baka Jungle all the way to Yara, Corozal and Dangriga. Check for my sister Julia, teaching the tourists the key kaka. Through the alley and the plaza, no jump past 41 mile marker. If you want something extra, I want you that feel librata. There for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. First, make we see how far your back bend. If you don't know how, get less of a current. Turn your body round like a smoothie or the blend. New dance trend. Style we no borrow, style we no lend. For sure, we no dey beg no friend. From in the thing far way back when for the elders and the children. Can't do this thing leg unless you do it like charge. Back it up in the garage. Make them know we squad living large. Hold a salute every sarge. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. We like when you shake it. Never gonna DR if you can't fake it. Entire yam, heart and thick. Mama take 9 months to make it. Act like you didn't need Johnny cake before you bake it. Take a pass to the cars, then twerk it. Then your style you can't buy the new market. All of the styling bang surpass it, yo. Watch when they blaze it. Have the tremble like we don't tease it. Tell the DJ, rewind it. Bust a sweat and work it.
All right. Greetings in the name of all things good and gracious. I am G. Michael Reid, your host, and welcome to another edition of our Tuesday podcast. We call this Reid Between the Lines on Sea Smoke. We have no sacred cows, no scapegoats, no sacrificial lambs, no agendas, personal, political, or otherwise. No fear nor favor, just the facts, straight facts. No reason to forgive or to repent, no quarrel, just sound argument. Welcome, people. Let's get ready to welcome our co-hosts. Hope these guys are gonna show up. There's a week to week and if you see me touching my forehead, it's because it's the after effect of a short fall, small fall that I had. Well, it's just a little bigger than small, but things are healing up well. I'm doing all right. Back on my feet. Um, Apologies to the haters who was hoping for otherwise. But listen, I remember, I believe it was one of those comedians who said, if you have five haters, you need to get 10 because haters drive. They're the fuel that turns your engine and makes you want to do better to show them that, you know what, you can't win because you're dealing with a winner. All right. So, CY with some good music to start it off. I don't know when this one broke through the barrier and let loose and get uh, um, heard internationally because the song that he produces certainly is quality and ready for the big time. You know, on Friday nights, every Friday evening, CY has a musical extravaganza, a show that features uh, good prominent artists and conversations with the people who are out there in the music world. So I'm going to catch that on Fridays. Of course, we're here every Thursday evening from 7 until 9. Usually, we're joined by Joe Cowie and Jeremy Spooner. Let us hope that uh, they will be presenting themselves shortly. The big news, no rapture. No rapture. I mean, they had us all waiting. I'm all packed and ready. And I want to put on headphones because I'm saying if something, if the horn will blow, I don't want to miss that. They said it was going to be Thursday. Then it changed to today. Well, today not over yet. So anything. And again, I wake up this morning to the sound of heavy claps of thunder. And I'm like, well, maybe that this, maybe that no. Turned out it was a false alarm, of course. Then I'm laying down and I hear hoofs. A horse that chat on the street could very well have been just somebody that moved their horse out of the way, early or late. Uh, Again, another false alarm. And I wasn't going to peep out. I tell you the truth, I don't going to peep out. I've heard too many of them will wild steal. My grandma again used to tell us a story about a legal way. You hear something outside late at night and a peep. And they peep through the window, somebody hand on a bone. And they look on the bone on a finger. Well, I know that the way the story may end, no? So they never really tell what happened after that, who were gone on, how he get out of that predicament. But there were lots of tales. And tell you, my dad was the best when it came to telling ghost stories. He would have you afraid to go to sleep, I'm telling you. Uh, but we did all right. We came through. And those were the times when we had families growing up together. Now they're like everybody in their own corner with a phone or on a screen to play free fire. It's just that not that cohesiveness that we used to enjoy growing up in Belize, and we have to try to find a way to bring it back. The British forces seem to have sent some soldiers down, which seems to be a big relief to many Belizeans out there. I don't know that there anything for celebrate as such because they've done it every year. They come in for field training. The jungles in Belize apparently offer very good conditions and an environment for that kind of training. And so I don't think we can read much into it. I also don't think we need to because I'm not one that believe that we're gonna the assistant flash from Spooners the way they say we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna be faced with any serious threat. Yes, you are on tonight, J.S. Spooners. See where can you make sure that Spooner get that link for us, please? Yeah. The I think that there's an overreaction. Is that an overreaction or an over paranoia? We've been raised with a fear of an invasion from Guatemala. In my house, I know we heard it all the time. Guatemala, they come, Guatemala, they come. Uh, if they're coming pretty slow because they don't reach it. Then, of course, Philip Golson had his whole narrative about George Price selling Belize to Guatemala, that he was going to be, like, I mean, don't take money, all kind of thing. And that he saved Belize. If again, though, if George Price was selling Belize to Guatemala, he was a very poor salesman, and he apparently never deliver. He renege on the money, take the money and gone, and they will have to get that back because we're not giving any of our territory. We're still at 8,867, baby, and we're gonna be here for a long time, God willing. And that was only, I believe, our only saving grace. Um, a lot, enough has not been made of the efforts that Mr. Price put in to get Belize on the international map and accepted by the rest of the countries. He had to start out, first of all, with the Central American countries. At first, nobody was on our side. In fact, nobody hardly knew about us. When you talk about Belize, I'm about Honduras, British Honduras, and mixed up the two. Many people didn't know there was a difference between the two. We're right here. Um, Greg Mercy took the money. He admitted he got money. Okay, and where you want from me? If they give me some money, I'll take it too. But he did not take any money to sell Belize to Guatemala. Then how come they haven't collect? Why don't come? Why they've never made any effort to come and collect what they paid for? And if they paid, then I hope they could get back their money. It's kind of late now, no? Because he's not around. But listen, people get money all the time. Trump just gave $1 million jet. How many? 400 million, 600 million from the very country that they went and bombed a little while after. What did he do? Did he sell America for that? Yeah, yeah. We get aid all the time from different countries. That I think that our poor. Come on, Gregory. I mean, and you know what? The whole uh, uh, NIP UDP campaign to discredit Mr. Price and his legacy is not working and will never work because we're still here and we know the goodness of Mr. Price. We remember him. We saw him live humble. They're not like the extravagant lifestyle that you have these people here living. I mean, we could look on the UDP. We could look on Mr. Barrow when he was prime minister. Shoes not get dirty. Never did walk in an area that you could say impoverished. So what's the story? What are we supposed to believe? Because I certainly am not going to believe that Mr. Price was trying to give Belize away or sell Belize. When Mr. Golson came back to Belize with their proposals, almost drove this country to the brink of rebellion, chaos, riots, and nothing came of it because there was nothing concrete there. Nothing was signed. Nothing was given away. The closest we came to anything being given away was the Maritime Areas Act in '92, when in fact that resulted in a President Serrano of Guatemala going back to Guatemala and unofficially recognizing Belize. Certainly, he was impeached after that. But when it was taken to the Guatemalan court, it was decided by the court that he had a right to do it and it could not be reversed. That in itself is enough for us to take to the ICJ and see it done. The next thing is that we have an 1859 treaty. That treaty is, I mean, in detail. It defines the borders, the territories, and whatnot. It has been, it has remained intact, except for when we decided that in goodwill, we would establish an adjacency zone because people were encroaching on both sides of the border, and they wanted to make sure that that area would have been kind of like a no man's land. To say that some Guatemalans have come over, yes, some have come over and planted milpa, and there have been illegal logging. Yes, but there's illegal logging, a lot more illegal logging. You remember incident just the other day? Was it up there in, where was it, Sand Hill, or one of those villages where they were the early logs that they were taking out, premature logs and all of that. You remember where they had to go in there and stop it? Our own people are doing a lot of illegal logging. I don't know that we're doing any logging in Guatemala or we even be able to get away with that. But listen, Belize has, when it comes to a defense force, not anything that we can write home about, not anything that we can jump and holler about. I see some cheering today because, of course, the arrival of those British troops. No, I don't know that we can read much into that at all, and I don't know that we can depend on the British to die for us. They're not going to send their soldiers to die for us. Are we? Have we been acting like that? Have we been acting like maybe we deserve that? Again, our best way forward is diplomacy. Let us make friends. I have said this for the longest. When them boy go up to Sarstoon and they meet them Guatemalan and they in their patrol, offer them one two dokono, one two pow meat pie, something authentically Belizean, and say, listen, we are Belize, we got for our own culture, for our own kind of food, we speak our own language. We don't want to get long, but we don't want under the aggressive way. That's all. I mean, and we got make we settle this thing in a court, then make we move forward as neighbors. Guatemala has 18 million people, a huge market for anything we can produce, anything we can grow, anything we can sow, eh, anything we can mix up, any kind of food we can make. And we should capitalize on that. We should not be driving them away. I really don't think that the majority of Guatemalans even care about Belize or claiming Belize as such. They're the hotheads. They're those
Okay,
there.
there I am. Okay, all right.
You have to bust in like that. You can't have to just storm the room, my brother. We know you're today. Good evening, Spooner. Uh, like I
Yeah,
swear, Greg,
I
this
don't know why, but last week it was the internet kept cutting me off, and today I couldn't get into the link. That's why I was on the phone telling Clinton I couldn't get in when I get jammed onto the screen. No? So
did you
here I
did,
am. Good evening,
did,
everybody.
did you pay your bill?
Why I'm
You
like
don't
my
have to.
father,
You
a
don't
good
have to.
Englishman. I'm pay all my bills.
You don't have to. You're privileged. You get well and you
I'm
and
a
buy.
privileged. I'm a privileged Belizean.
Yeah,
You know, I want to
yeah,
apply for my American visa and I give visa to anybody now.
yeah. Great boy. I shine your visa, no? You know, stop hate pan the man, my boy.
I know, but I don't hate, and I've never said anything hateful against the man. I've
Mm,
never criticized him. I've
mm.
never said anything bad about him at all on Facebook. Never.
All right.
I was just wondering when I saw that he got a visa.
Uh,
I was under the impression that if you are a convicted criminal, a felon, and a deportee, that was the end of it, that you couldn't get a visa. So I double checked and I went in, and AI told me that deportees and felons can reapply, and depending on their behavior, how their life has gone since they were deported and their criminal act, they are given consideration. So either this one went under the radar, or they considered him and gave him a visa. So kudos to him if he got it. That's what he
Yeah,
wanted.
and I don't know, cause he did pay his time. Not like not like Budna will run escape from prison. He did his
No,
time, came out. He was sent to Belize, and he has, in all honesty, lived an exemplary lifestyle. He hasn't been involved in any kind of except for the political back and forth. No, so
no, I agree with you. He hasn't done anything bad since he's been here, except bust up the UDP. That's the only bad thing he do.
I don't know if you could blame him for that, though. I mean, certainly not alone. I tell you what, I find that he's well spoken, eloquent, and as compared to the speech that your boy gave at the UN, which was not.
My boy, put it down on the UN.
You see what I'm saying? Uh, uh, all right. The GOP should never have recalled his diplomatic visa. I don't know. He's no longer a member of parliament. He's
Yeah.
well, right? And he's not. Is he even the leader of the
Well,
opposition still?
I isn't there another gentleman that took over his division and
Yeah,
won?
Lee Mark.
Yeah.
Lee
Okay.
Mark won't mess up.
So he's not a standard bearer anymore because you
Yeah,
can only,
yeah. He's not qualified for a diplomatic visa for sure.
yeah.
So I don't know why you would not take it back.
I
Uh,
think the only thing that maybe somebody could say what I said bad about him or what it may insinuate was when I first heard him coming back here and running for politics. When I joined ACB, I read the Constitution and so on, and I thought that to be a standard bearer, to be a representative in the House, you had to have a clean slate. You couldn't be a convicted criminal, blah blah blah. And even though maybe that Constitution doesn't, it's only unless you commit that crime in Belize.
yeah.
Maybe if you committed it in the USA, that doesn't hold water in Belize. So that may be the only thing I question that, because it could be embarrassing for Belize if he became the prime minister and everybody wants to know who he is, and that record comes up, and then people are going to say, "Well, what's going on with Belize? Is this the kind of characters that they have running for politics?"
I don't know.
That's my only
Trump.
concern.
Oh. Trump has 34 convictions.
But he hasn't gone to jail.
But yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
let's look at it. I mean, look at the difference, no? You talk about
Yeah,
China and
well,
Trump. I mean, if one not going to jail and beat
well,
Trump,
he got all of those
but
while
but but but
Biden was in.
but make we get it out of the way, Spoons, because I think, and I hold it against you, because you need to come out of the closet. I don't mean in that way there. I mean you're
Right.
a Trumpster. You support Donald Trump, don't you?
No, you know what it is? I can't be a wokie, and I can't be a liberal. What it is, it's not that I'm a Trumpster, it's that
You're a white wing. You're a right winger.
the left, it just pisses me off. Just like Jimmy Kimmel, that every night that is same ras over and over. Get on to something else. That's all the left is doing,
Jeremy.
So whenever they say things about Trump, so me go research it and I say, okay, boy, that's true, or no, that's not true. So it doesn't mean I'm a supporter of him, but I want to get the truth.
Has
And I
it
believe
been
in that.
has
I
it been
believe in that.
mostly true or mostly false what they have been saying about him?
They say he's a racist. I don't believe he's a racist. He's not a Nazi. He's not a fascist. The young people in America, they ain't got a clue what a fascist is or a Nazi is. I'm a post-Nazi time, right? My mother fled from Poland and her family because of the Nazis. She was interviewed by the Gestapo. So I know what a Gestapo, what a Nazi is. America's not being run by a Nazi. Come on, not even close. All he's doing is doing his mandate, and and the man is active. He's 79 years old. Then block him on the escalator, try maybe make him fall down. The man stood up and stand right there. And the wife just continued, they're like, no big thing. Then gone up the escalator and he walked up
Jeremy,
there.
Jeremy,
You
Jeremy,
know?
Jeremy, Jeremy. Stop it, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, stop it, Jeremy. You
Stop it.
are
No, no.
a Trumpster. You are not
So
all
you know
right.
what?
I don't mind. We could have arguments about these now, because
Yeah.
I enjoy people with another point of view coming. I don't want to sing kumbaya and just totally
Yeah.
agree with everything and roll down. I love good arguments, not quarrel now, because I mean that's where the confusion comes in. We're not going to quarrel, but
No.
we go argue. And I now what was Charlie Kirk, and we never did get around to Charlie Kirk last week. Is Charlie Kirk a racist? Was he a racist?
I don't. He's not.
He's
I
not a
watched all the
racist.
debates. He's not a racist. Have you watched his debates with the college
Well,
students?
I did not see, not in totality. Let me say that.
I
Not
watched them.
I've heard some of the things he said, in particular some of his comments about some prominent figures, black women, that he suggested that they would not have been there had it not been for DEI. Do you
Yeah,
believe
but
that?
you have to look at it in the context of the whole interview or the whole debate. You just can't
But,
cherry pick.
how
There
could
was
you?
a guy one.
I hope you
Okay,
know
we're
freeze
back
up.
again. There was
Yeah.
there's a big PUP guy, and because I was in the ACB, he came up to me and he had his camera, his phone in his hand, and he asked me a question. He says, "Spunaz, you believe white people come from monkey?" I said, "You know what?" I said, "That's what the anthropologists say, that we all came from the primates." So then he looked at me and said, "Do you think black people come from monkeys?" And I just watch it, and I watch his hand by his phone. I say, "You leave bugger, you know, get me into that." What he would have done, he would have got cherry picked that conversation where I would have said, "Yes, they do," right? Because I already said that white people, that's what they say about white people too.
He said,
He
"Let
would
me
have
put
just
that
put
part."
that there, and then he would have said, "When I say black people come from monkey," right? And he would have got me there. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with Charlie Kirk. Same
Yeah. Good
Same
one. Good try. But no, because how do you put that in context? How can you look at something like that, speaking so disparagingly about some well accomplished women, very educated, and you listen to them and know that they're smart, and
What was the question to him that said that he came and he gave that? Do you know what came before that? What
what
came before that?
what could come before that to justify that, Jeremy? Because
Well, you
some
have
things
to
are
watch his debates. He
yeah,
talks
no,
to a
but
lot of black guys. He talks to a lot of black college students that come up and call him a racist. So he asks them, "Give me a definition of a racist. Tell me why you think I'm a racist. Blah blah blah. Why do you think I have white privilege?" And he puts them down all the time.
but
He's not a racist. He's a
no,
Christian nationalist, which I don't agree with.
I don't
I
think
don't believe in
I
that.
don't think any white person could ask what do you mean I have privilege? White people have privilege. There's somebody I was talking to about this, and
For me,
now you women to talk about, right?
are
There
you
come,
really, yes, are you saying one?
are you saying one?
Hi
All
there,
right.
Joe. How you doing? Thank God you come on the show. You don't left me this bally by myself. Please.
Um,
Well,
it's
but I give this one then, since you're Mr. Chairman, allow me to give Mr.
Please.
Spooner this one.
please do slap her in the head with it, sir.
So somebody tell me that if Spooner was wrong when Malcolm X, he said he thinks Spooner may want to turn Malcolm X into a man will begin to hate black people.
But the man that good boy.
Do you know that Malcolm X is my hero? I lived in Boston and I read his book, Malcolm X, did by the guy who wrote Roots.
The point I wanted to make was Malcolm X, so I'm believing in you.
Jeremy Gregory.
Malcolm X, he evolved.
Sorry about that.
Hey. Gregory Morrison said that you're off base when it comes, you're off target on Charlie Kirk, and that Charlie was. Where the next one? Put it up, Greg. He was speaking on his own about affirmative action. All right, he was. I know he was against DEI. He was against gay rights, LGBT rights. He was a bit against abortion. And how do you
what
feel?
is wrong if he's against LGBT what they call LGBT rights. What's wrong if you are a Christian nationalist, you are a Bible swinging evangelist. What is wrong if he believes in that? That's his opinion.
Well,
That's his right.
then maybe there's something wrong with swinging a Bible because people are people. I mean, I don't think we should be prejudiced to the point where we target them and prevent them from doing things and going places. I am not gonna. I don't condone the behavior of people like that. I think that
Yeah.
you could abstain if push come to shove. I think it's against the natural order then. And if that gets me in trouble, then fine. But I don't think we should persecute them. I don't think you should.
Oh, I don't believe in that either. No,
So,
but I find it repulsive.
okay. And you don't
But I
associate
would
with
never go
people.
beat up anybody. I would not never not allow them to come into my house. I would not allow them to come in. I would not do that. I would not be
Well,
prejudiced or
well, wait, wait,
discriminate against them.
well, you had a business. Did you ever, at some point when anybody came in that you and some is obvious that they're gay, no? Did you ever?
Oh yeah, we've had a few. We don't got no problems with that. For their money, just as good as your money and my money.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
You
How do you
know.
feel about abortion?
Well, you know that I'm not a Christian enough to say. I believe that women should have the right if they want to do it.
Now, see, I don't. Joe, you got any thoughts on that?
I do have a lot of thoughts on it because I separate the private morality from public morality.
Okay.
And I separate them because the state has no responsibility to legislate private morality. So to me, we should not deny a person his or her rights because of our private morality. So if you are a homosexual, you as a
Yeah.
Christian might in fact it goes against your Christian belief. And it's only to that extent in your private morality you can say, "Boy, I do not support it." But
Right.
when it comes to their rights in our nation state, they cannot be denied their rights.
But here's the thing, though, Joe.
So the rights we talk about is the what you call the public morality. That is different.
No, no, no. Public or private. We talk now about with homosexuality and gay rights and whatnot. They're between adults, consulting adults, hopefully, consenting adults, and they can look out for themselves, make their own decisions whether they want to live with that or not. But we talk about the life of an unborn child. I think the time to stop an abortion is before you have sex. Make sure that when you're going to have sex, you're protected. And I know that, all right, they think mistakes happen. I believe that in certain cases, like if a woman is raped, but do you know there's some very prominent people that have been results of pregnancies by rape? And I had a prominent individual that came to mind. Wasn't it Jesse Jackson? That was and I have to go back and look at that. But I'm thinking that if in cases like that, if the woman wants to incest again too, there might be by cases where, but just as a general rule, to just say it's okay to go ahead and have abortion, I would not. I'm not in favor of that. Not
I'll
at
be
all.
quite honest. I have mixed emotions about it. Situations like you just mentioned, rape. How about ultrally handicapped
Well,
infants?
yeah. Proven that the child will grow up. If the child once born is gonna be unable to live a normal lifestyle, a life. I believe I could go with that too. Yeah. So I'm
The
saying
thing
that.
is, Charlie Kirk was. He said from the conception, the students would argue with him that it wasn't a human being after a certain amount of time, but his argument was that from the time of conception, when the male sperm met the egg, that was the beginning of a human being, and that's why if I got it right, that is why he did not believe in abortion, that you were killing a human being. And the other people were saying, well, oh no, because the DNA wasn't made yet, blah, 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 blah. But that was his position. And plus, he's a Christian, so he doesn't believe in taking life. You
You
know?
know, though,
And that, yeah.
if you will think that man goes back to monkey, apes, that's a long stretch from the 9 months that a human being goes to conception. Because a person, once those and I agree with Kirk on that one, though. Once the egg and the sperm mixes, and there's a life, and you know that there's a heartbeat from very early. That's one of the ways they know the woman is pregnant, because they can sense that there. So I really think that I would not, I would not support abortion in normal circumstances. Let me see, and I would not. It's not died in the wool like that. It's not that so rigid that I would make no exceptions for it. But there are cases, I imagine, that you could look at, certainly, and say, well, this makes sense that we should allow it for that. But just that casual, just go out there and you had careless sex, and then you get pregnant, so you're going to get an abortion. I don't think it should be allowed.
But
A
Mr.
question
Chairman,
was popped up in my mind. I don't know if you guys know an answer for it. What is the position of the Christian nationalists, all Christians on the whole, about contraceptive? That you're preventing the sperm from meeting the egg. What is their perception on that? Do you
I
know what
don't
it
know.
is?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
well,
I
there is, I think we are all familiar with the Roman Catholicism prevention, where you could have the sex during the period of infertility. That is the prevention they allow you to have. But they don't want you to use any kind of artificial prevention. That's Roman Catholicism and they talk about. But
did
we're,
they ever?
yeah, but we're fundamental to me. The discussion of this type needs to be put in context. And the context I am sensing we need to put it in is coming right back to democracy and theocracy. In a theocracy, the religion dictates the legislation of the state. In a democracy, it's not religion. People
Yeah.
are free in a democracy to be an atheist, to be a Christian, to be a Muslim. And that is democracy. No, if that is democracy, then the state cannot interfere with a person's public morality. He cannot, and he should not.
Greg is
Joe,
wondering
Joe,
about.
Now, that's what I'm trying to bring to the consciousness of the discussion. That you
do
have
we
to
have abortion? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
know,
Go
if
ahead.
you are in a theocracy, then your religion dictates legislation. But when you are in a democracy, it is not the religion that dictates the legislation. The issue of abortion is dictated in the state because of what is it that will constitute murder, the killing of a person. So
Embryo.
the state is not legislating on the basis of any Christian or Muslim or any religious belief. Then they are not. The state is trying to determine when is it that we could consider it to be cases to justify there must be circumstances to justify the abortion.
I'm with Charlie
So,
Kirk. I think life begins at conception.
well,
Uh, uh,
I'm saying to you that if you believe that life begins at conception and you were,
When the sperm enters the egg. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
that's the genesis of life. That's the genesis of life right there. And I really don't think that we should prevent any life the opportunity of developing. You don't know what kind of that might be the person that comes up with the cure for cancer. I don't think that we can make that determination. Greg was talking about how about forcing a woman to have a child, but I don't think it's about the woman after that conception has occurred. After that
Is it-
child becomes a person, um, I don't I think that we need then more than ever, more than even for a normal person, we need to protect an unborn child, because that child has no ability to defend and protect itself. It depends on all of us,
Yeah.
and it's whether we agree with it or don't agree with it, is whether many of those children will grow up
But,
and enjoy a life.
but Mr. Chairman, again, maybe sounding a little bit repetitious, but for the sake of trying to get over the point, what we are doing, we are taking some specific instances and trying to make a determination whether that particular instance is right or wrong. I am saying that before you do that, you will need to look at what is it that you want to legislate and what is it that you want to discuss, not in the context of legislation, but in the context of one's religious belief.
Let's not bring it to that point of legislation. I don't think it should even have to get to that point.
No,
And
that is the point.
Ariel,
Oh, Mr.
hold on. Ariel, let me finish that thought. Ariel Hamilton is suggesting that it's not up to a woman to determine whether a woman should. That it's not up to a man to determine whether a woman should have an abortion. That's basically what he's saying. And again, though, it's not the man nor the woman at that point, but the interest of the child that's paramount that we
But
need to
Mr.
be
Chairman,
looking at. No,
I
I,
think
I, and the reason, well, no, let me finish my thought, Joe, because
yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking about legislation.
yes,
I'm saying that the what we live by then, the societal norms. I think that what should drive that as opposed to a law, it should be just something that we understand as human beings that the child has a right to exist.
yeah, but what I was trying to do, Mr. Chairman, and I may be sounding repetitive, I was repeating it. I'm trying to draw the line between whether we want to discuss our religious belief about abortion or we want to discuss the state legislating. For example, if the state says, well, listen, hands off, a woman has responsibility over her body. We don't make no legislation against abortion. They can do what they want. All right, that's not legislation. You are not legislating against it. No. The only discussion we're left to have then is about our religious belief. That's
You
all.
mean you mean there's nothing in between there?
There's nothing could be in between.
What about people? What about people that don't have any particular religious faith? What
Then
about those?
that's what I'm saying. If a person has no religious
Right,
conviction, he's
right.
an atheist, for example,
That he can't have a determination. He
then
can't.
to me, what I'm saying, that whatever he and those who like him decide to do, that's their decision. It won't be violating a law.
Correct.
With them. So there is no violation of the law, so they do what they want. It's only a question then of your religious conviction. And if you are not a religious person, so what you'll be saying in effect, a woman has a right to do with the body when it comes to abortion and pregnantation.
Well, how would you be saying that? You don't have to be a religious person to think that it's not right for a woman to have an abortion.
No,
That's what I'm saying. What you saying? You have to be one or the other. You go by the law, or you go by by the religious tenets. And I don't think that. I think that in between there, there's something, Joe.
let me make an attempt again, one more time.
What are you making an attempt to do?
I am saying,
Convince me that what you're saying is right.
Mr. Chairman, let's look at a democracy first rather than a theocracy. In a democracy, you cannot tell a person that he has to have a religion. You cannot. The person is free to have a religious belief or not. He can be an atheist, he can be a Christian, he can be a Muslim, and he can do anything he wants. That is right in our democracy. Now, what we're going to next, the issue of abortion. Now, we know for a fact that in a democracy, the state has attempted and has in fact legislated.
Come here, girl. Come on.
And in Belize, there has been legislation. In America, there is legislation. Legislation have been changed from time to time because the issue when it comes to legislation is whether you are killing a person or not. That's all. No, when it comes to religion, that's different.
You know, maybe if I said what I'm saying, Mr. Cowie, you will more take into consideration what I am saying. What I am saying is that yes, there are laws that tell you will decide whether you can or can't, and then there's a religious tenet that discourages it or just lets it let it be. Now, in the middle somewhere, there are people who have no such conviction to any religious tenet, and They're not even worried about the legal or the illegal part of it. They just have a conscience that by which they're guided, and that conscience says, you know what, it's not right to just cut off the potential for life, because it is not our right to do that. That is not, you know how people have sex all the time, and it's not all the time there's a conception. Obviously, if there's a conception, there's just something that it seems there's the nature wants to have this child be born.
Yeah, but you bring some lucidity to it just now. You bring clarity, exceptional clarity just now at one point. You're saying, and I want to try to repeat something you said just now. If there is no legislation, the state hasn't legislated when it comes to abortion,
Uh-huh.
then it left your conscience. That's exactly what you said. And I agree with you. That's it. It's left your conscience. If there is no legislation on abortion, then it must left your conscience. That's it. That's it. It's either legislation or your conscience.
And I would
With
hope,
the legislation, it can't be left to your conscience.
and I would hope that it will become a part of the norm, because that we're governed by that too, not things that are normal within society, which is why the LBGT gets so much problem, because the norm is that man and woman and go forth and multiply. I don't I don't think that we don't have a need for a law that says you're not unkind to a person, regardless that even if they don't live the style and the lifestyle that you choose to live. I don't think you should be unkind to anybody like that, because we are people. We all, and which is why I cannot condone what is happening in the Middle East and all the killing and whatnot, because they're human beings just like us. It might not got nothing to do with me. And I have heard the argument, by then the way across there, we have to take care of our own business and whatnot. But we are all human beings on this one planet. And I think injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Just my thoughts on that, no?
Uh,
So,
um, yeah. I
uh
was just wondering if Joe can just confirm it. In the absence of legislation, abortion should be an individual decision. It should be up to their conscience whether they want to do it or not. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I would like. I would agree with that.
That's right. That's it right there. Once it is not legislated, then it's up to our conscience.
would you encourage or discourage
I
abortion?
personally will discourage abortion if it is
Depending on the circumstances, I would.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think we agree on that. That you
Yeah.
can't just be casual. You can't just decide.
If we can try to understand what is it that we want to achieve, I think some of the differences will be evidently removed. And if we're speaking of abortion, we have to ask ourselves, are we looking at the issue of legislation, which is public morality? Or are we looking at the issue of conscience, which is private morality? So if there is no legislation against abortion, if there is, I mean hypothetically, then there's no argument there. So the only thing left is our conscience.
In what are my rights or our rights as men if we happen to have consensual sex with a lady and she gets pregnant and she decides that she wants to abort the baby, but you and I and Mike are willing to take on and adopt the child and bring up the child ourselves. What rights do we have? Does the rights of the woman override our rights in that situation?
That's a good question, a good point.
If you two persons, of course, somebody got pregnant
Right.
and the mother decides that he wants,
They can't afford to handle the child, they don't want a child.
they want somebody to adopt the child.
And somebody not that she wants. Somebody wants to adopt the child. Say for instance, a couple of aunties or uncles decide, you know what, baby, you pregnant. They make it. She make it known they're pregnant. We don't want the child be born, and we want to adopt the child and take care and take the responsibility.
Well, what happened? Adoption inherently has a legal connotation, meaning that if I'm going to adopt somebody, it is because of the legal connotation of adoption. So, therefore, if there is to be an adoption, it has to be with consent legally.
I no, but that's not the point.
What is the
But
point then?
hold up. Gregory is saying that for the majority of women, he does not believe abortion is an easy choice. I think it depends on the upbringing, the environment that the woman. I've seen women talk about it casually, like it's just, you know what, listen, and where where they used to speak of it as when we grew up, that show a picnic and we want to show this one now. But all right, the point that Jeremy was saying, would the woman's right to have that abortion override the rights of those relatives who wanted to adopt the child and raise him,
Or the father of the child, or the father
or the
of the
father
child.
of the child, and not
Yeah.
necessarily adopting a legal way, but just
No,
assume responsibility for raising the child?
Yeah, but the
yes,
comment,
I would adopt the child myself. I would, if I father the child and the young lady did not want it, I would have pleaded with her to have the child and give me the child, and I'll bring up the child.
yeah,
That's
but
me.
you see, we're coming back again to the issue of whether it's legislation is a consideration or whether it may have the less upon one's conscience. So if legislation is not the issue, then it will be a case of where the parents of the mother will have to try to convince the mother, go ahead and have the child, and we will take care of the child. That's
Hmm.
all you could do.
Yeah, but that address the point with the raise.
No.
Yeah.
All right, tell me what is the
Yeah.
point. What is the
The
point?
point is, what are my rights? Me and a young lady made a child, she got pregnant, and she decided she don't want the child. Does her right to have an abortion oversee my right to want to have the child?
You see, when you begin to speak of right, inferentially you're introducing the issue of legislation. That is a fact. No, I am saying to you, if there is no legislation,
There's no right. If there's no registration, there's no right.
then to me it's an issue of the parties involved for them to decide what they want. But if there's a legislation,
But
let me finish. Let's assume there's a legislation that says this mother wants to abort the child. But if there are people, relatives, strangers, let's say relatives, want to adopt the child, can you have a legislation that will say, listen, you have to have the child? Well, you cannot abort the child. You got to, and if you abort her, you will pay the penalty because you violate the law. But from the fact that you didn't want her, because of the circumstances, could have been incest, it could have been rape, it could have been anything. But if the law is saying that one, I just to use a hypothetical, if the law is saying that you cannot abort the child because you have people who are willing to adopt her, so you cannot say that I couldn't take care of the child. No, if there is such a legislation,
Okay,
Joe,
so if there is,
let's look at the practicality. If there is a legislation, look at the practicality.
I
How can you get the mother to say that I will not bring this child forward because I don't want the child? You see, those are issues that to me not likely to arise in reality. They are more
so
hypothetical.
if there is, like, I think I did AI. They said Belize does have abortion is legal. Um, so if it's legal in Belize, basically I have no rights if the woman wants to abort my child.
and that's okay. But see, I find a lot of people, and I found this in the Budna case. A lot of people are so insistent on that legal thing, and Joe and I heard a lot that if the law this and the law you have to abide, and seriously, I think it kind of like takes away from a person's independent thinking as far as realizing, and maybe it goes back to that private morality that you know when you're doing right and when you're doing wrong, and it doesn't have to rely upon legislation. Laws don't have to be in place for me to know that I'm not supposed to take something, because the law only applies if I am caught. if I know that I'm not supposed to take it because it's not mine, not because if I and if I get caught, I will go to jail. But that's not the reason that I would not take it. There are people who don't rely on legislation to determine what they need to do.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think I can actually give you a good exposure on that. Men in a civilized society, in a democratic society, must be upright. It should not have to be kept upright. Because whenever too many citizens of a civilized society, what is presently a civilized democratic society, cannot be upright, there will be civil unrest. Legislation cannot keep us upright. We must be upright. Though, because of our imperfections, there will be some of us who will not be upright, and therefore they have to be kept upright by the law. That is democratic societies. But
We have police officers, no?
the minute you see there are too many people in a society that are no longer upright, it's the beginning of a failed state. And that is a historical fact, a humanized historical fact. Whenever a society reaches the point where too many of us have to be kept upright, the state will not be able to do it. And that is what brings civil unrest and civil war.
Let's go back to Charlie Kirk. Jeremy, did they get the right guy? Because there are a lot of questions, a lot of irregularities, some things that don't seem to make sense, like the guy taking down the rifle. I saw a guy with the same rifle that Charlie Kirk was supposed to have, that was supposed to have taken down, put in a backpack, and jump over a fence. They had images of that. And he was showing that there's no way in the time that he had, he could have dismantled that rifle without the proper tools, and it would not have fit into that knapsack that they showed him carrying, that they said he put that rifle in, because the barrel cannot be taken down to fit in there. Did you following that, and do you have any questions about it, or are you convinced that they had the right fellow, this guy Robinson?
So far on this, they can tell me another theory. I'm convinced that the guy Robinson is his name.
Yes,
Tyler Robinson.
Correct.
Is the shooter. You're saying now that there is another video showing him taking the gun away in a knapsack?
Yes.
But they showed another video of him carrying the gun, what they assume was in his leg pants, and that's why he was walking strangely. When he was going to the he didn't have a knapsack.
When he was going to the ditch, when he was going to ditch it in the woods.
No, when he was going to go and do the assassination.
Okay. But then when he left there, they had a video. They had a video. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
They had a video. They had a video of him apparently leaving the scene with a knapsack on his back, and went into the woods and ditched the gun. But this is what I'm saying that came into question. There's also rumors that there was a plane that took off from a nearby airport, and that just shortly after this was supposed to have happened, and flew away, then lost radio contact, which they say is illegal. You can't do that. If you're up there, you're supposed to maintain contact with the ground, no? So that again, of course, with issues like these, you'll have conspiracy theories.
But his father turned him in. He confessed to his father that he shot.
Well, see
that's
a very convenient story, because who's going to question that? Who is going to question that?
To his partner, the guy that he was living with, that he shot Charlie Kirk, and why he did it.
Officer Spooner, you are right. It was even more than that. His father saw the picture from the video, and he recognized that it was his son, and tried to find him. And they made arrangements for him to give up himself.
But that's not what I heard. I heard he went home and confessed to his father. So which of the stories are correct?
No, he did that too. So what I'm saying is not contradicting that.
You can't do the two of them. You can't go
home. Hold on.
You said
that they had a video which they
You
were
no, no,
taking out.
hold on, Joe, hold on. You said that his father saw the video and he recognized his son and went looking for him and found him.
Well,
The story that they put out is that he went home and confessed to his father, who then
yes,
held him and turned him in.
yes, but I'm saying prior to the confession, there was a video of this person that was supposed to have done the shooting. His father saw the video and realized that it was his son. And he did make the contact and he came home.
Listen, no skin off of my back.
It's
If
not,
if you
I
guys are
didn't know,
convinced,
I didn't know that there was some evidence so to suggest that it could be another person or it could be a group.
there are things out there that are suggesting that everything is not the mat is not matting, as they would say. There's some things that that's not fitting as conveniently as you would think they're fitting in.
Well,
I don't know.
allow me to speculate, which I don't like to do. But if there is such kind of information emerging, especially from people like Bundy and Patel and them, who their loyalty is to Trump, they would do anything for the Trump, Hitler. They would do anything for Hitler. No, I'm saying that seriously.
Oh, did you say Hitler?
Well, that's what they're calling Trump now. They call it.
Jeremy.
They call it.
Yes,
I know it's Trump.
yes.
I know. I know it's Trump. I know. I mean, he's a
All right,
pro.
go ahead, go ahead. I just wanted to
Heil
bring his
Trump.
attention.
Heil Trump.
That's
I'm
what I'm
sorry.
saying.
I'm sorry. I gotta say that. The
Yeah,
point is,
yeah, just want to bring your attention to it. But go ahead. All right, so these are people
that,
loyal to him. Yeah.
is that the information that came out when it was known to be the son of this person, all of them are Republicans. They are all MAGA supporters. They are. So
The
what they were,
parents were.
yeah, they
Parents.
all are. They are. They're supporters of Trump. Now, there is this theory coming up that to try to make it look like it was not him because it is not looking good for his own people going against him.
But he was
And
radicalized by the left.
Ah,
And that's why he hated Charlie Kirk.
yeah,
And they're saying that all this thing coming from the left about fascists and Nazis and so on is clouding these young people's minds with all this bull. And that's why he wrote on the thing that Nazi, fascist, all
but
these
but
things.
but,
Just
but
like the guy who
Jeremy,
was
Jeremy,
ICE.
Jeremy.
apparently
Yeah, what?
he felt that Cork Charlie was not extreme enough.
There's some coming. There's things coming from the right too, though. That because you have to find a middle ground somewhere. You say you're not a liberal. You're not. Would you say you're not moderate either? Because
I am independent, leaning more to the right.
to the right,
Trust me.
and
I
which
lean more to
again,
the right.
I wish again I've had this conversation with Joe and it kind of shut me down on it. That I think
Mhm.
they want misuse of the word right. Because the opposite of right are wrong, not left. So
But you know what it
I think
means.
one I know, but I know that, but
The
just
opposite
a
of right is
suggestion.
the opposite of right is left. The opposite of right is left. The opposite of wrong is right.
The opposite of right is left. No,
Eh,
opposite no. The opposite of right is not left. The opposite of right is wrong.
I
The
have the
word
right.
wrong.
I have the right hand and I have
I
the
can
left.
But
understand
we all
north
know
and
what it
south.
means.
I
We
would
all know
go.
when somebody
Yeah,
say you're
that
right, when somebody say you're left, it
I
become part of the normalized vocabulary.
yeah, but you know what? That psyche it picks it up, and like the only things that it is there, any suggestion there can do a lot of harm. So as a right, you might not have a problem with it being called right. I I I don't. I'm somewhere there in the middle, and I don't think they should maybe go like well, it's a Joe talk about hand because in a boxing, you know, got right and left, you got north paw, south paw. So those are opposite, the two poles, north and south.
Yeah, but Mr. Chairman, remember these are political ideologies we're talking about, and there's a spectrum. The political
What,
ideologies have a spectrum.
and spectrum is what?
The spectrum is you have the far right, you have the far left.
Yeah, I right, and that is what is accepted.
No, no,
But
that is
I'm
not.
saying
That is,
just because it's there don't mean it can't be questioned.
but there's no need to question it
Why not?
because
When it's insinuating,
no,
it's
Mr.
suggestive.
Chairman,
To suggest something is right when it is not right.
for over 100 years now, the world has accepted that there is a spectrum when it comes to political ideologies. There
That
are.
is called right and left.
That's right.
And just because of that, we can never question it.
Well,
Well, it depends on what the context of how it's being used. If you're in traffic and somebody tell you to turn right, they say no, turn left, not turn right, turn left. So it depends on how you use the word.
It's not a physical direction. It's an ideological direction.
Yes,
It's a political.
we all know what it means.
Spectrum, they call it.
The fact that
Right.
we know what it means is not addressing the point I am making. The
So what
point
would
I
you
am,
suggest?
I
What
go
would you
north
suggest?
and south. Go north and south. Those are opposites.
Yeah,
You
but
are north wing, so when the south wing, but they suggest you are right. You're not right.
Yeah, but you are talking in terms of geography, Mr. Chairman. You are talking. You have the north, you have the south, you have the east, the west, you have north,
So,
east, south, east.
so when I say to you,
Geography. This is not geography.
when I say to you, you're right, Joe. You're right in what you're saying. If you're not, would that mean you're left?
No. You are putting it in different contexts. When you speak of the political ideologies, they are a spectrum, and that spectrum is guided by right and left.
I see you guys defending. All right, let me see what Greg is saying here. That is the issue with corruption in Belize at the moment. Too many people not being upright because of corruption, political, citizen, and business. There is corruption for sure, and he's suggesting that because people are not being, like you said, Joe, they don't have to be kept upright. You have to be upright, and people are not upright. In particular, not where politics is concerned, but of course we're rational beings, and we can make and we can justify whatever we do, and we could do the wrong and then find a way like we then do. Then I take only $10 and give somebody, and they feel good about what they've done there, and that is supposed to be okay to justify stealing 2,000 because I helped somebody. Think that way they go on with
You are so right. There's a thing called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance was developed in 1956 at the University in California. The cognitive dissonance is saying that you can do something that you damn well know is wrong, but you can find a way to justify it. Let me give you a quick little joke on it. The doctor told the lady that does the cleaning, he knows that she's engaged in sex, prostitution. He said, you need to be careful, take care of yourself, protect yourself. He said, but then if I do that, I won't be giving satisfaction. He said, but what you are doing is wrong. He said, yes. She said, might be so. He said, but doc, I noticed something about you. Why are you smoking? The doctor tried to justify why he's smoking. He said, if he doesn't smoke, he said he will get on a ravenous appetite. He said, I get fat. Take the part and smoke as the rest of the evening. That is your cognitive dissonance right there talking about. Mr. Chairman, you were right.
Excuse me, boy, that's the first time I get that. I work with that when I stay up on that any longer.
There's cognitive dissonance, but it is something that we should not ignore. It should be a topic by itself. Too many of us know damn well what we are doing is wrong, but we do it out of a selfishness and greed.
And justify it.
What is that phrase called? What was covenant?
In 1956,
cognitive dissonance.
The cognitive is the knowledge, but the dissonance is to try to make it look like it is right.
You're going to have fun with that one, Germany, and AI going to hook you up.
Look it up.
It's a good explanation on that. All right, moving right along. The British forces are in Belize doing exercise. I imagine we all do. But do you think it has anything? Is it in any way sending a message? Many people are thinking that our message to Guatemala that they still got way back, but isn't it just a jungle training session?
Well, I did a lot of photography for BATSUB when I was doing photography, and this is a reoccurring thing. They have
they do it every year, right?
They bring in troops from Europe and train them. You had Polish troops, you had Italian troops. You had different, but mostly of them are British. And sometimes they bring a platoon. Sometimes they only bring like 30 men. Sometimes they bring larger men. The video I saw, I got the impression that this was a big load of troops that came off the plane. I like the idea. It could be coincidence with independence and all these troops being here. I think that I would wish that they would go do some jungle training by the Sarstoon. I'd like to see them take some boats and go down the Sarstoon.
Is
You
it
know, to look
showing?
at
Is it showing that we have friends in the UK?
I don't think the UK will turn their back on Belize. I don't think so.
Yeah, but I don't think that a couple of troops coming here to do some training is necessary. I don't think we could read much into that. You
I
think?
think they'll deny it because they're being diplomatic. They will not say, "Oh, they're here because of that Guatemalan situation." They would never reveal that. They would never say, "Yes, that's why they're here."
All
You
right.
know,
We
but they
cannot.
could have used that to send a message, knowing that they have a bad sub unit here that they do training and so on. You know, it's up in
It,
the air.
it, it looks good for us. Let's put it that
Yes.
way. Yeah.
It's a reminder to the Guatemalans that we have a relationship with the British forces.
And
It's not the first time it happened. It happened before.
No,
it happens every year actually.
No, no, no,
But
no.
but
No,
but
no, it happened after after the defense grantee came to an end, and then there was a period when the Guatemalans seemed to wanted to begin to increase their agitation, no? And the British, we had an agreement, and we still have agreement signed with the British that they would use Belize for training. So all they have to do if they want to send a message is send people to train. But
Yeah.
what did they do? In a subtle way, they tell them, remember something, gentlemen, we are a member of the Commonwealth. And a member of the Commonwealth is not simple just being a member for having formal speeches. Commonwealth countries, we are a member of the Commonwealth,
yeah, and we should stay in the Commonwealth.
and there are 50 odd countries.
and I think that for the most part, except for the few that are still holding on to that concept of support for Zionism, for the most part, most of the countries of the world are compassionate, humane, and would indeed stand up for what is right, as they are doing now for Palestine, though they cannot do anything in the face of the American involvement. But this is what concerns me about this, because not only is the American involved in that, but so is the UK. Although the UK stepped up now and recognized Palestine as a state, but they're still, they have lots of riots and demonstrations in England because they're supporting the Israelis. They're sending airplane parts and other components for weapons. So I think that part of it is a bit troubling to me. If we're going to be depending on them to do it, I don't know that we can. I'm not sure we can depend on them so fully and unequivocally. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Well,
you said something earlier on. This is not a one-time thing every year. It's several groups of soldiers come here throughout the year. Could be
That's
10 groups, it could be 6 groups.
exactly.
Normally, what they would do is they would do 6 weeks, 3 weeks in the jungle. They would come out of the jungle. I would take the group shot photograph. They'd spend the day bathing in the river and so on because they're not bathed, all right? They've been in the jungle for 3 weeks. They come out. They come by, is it called Guatemala Bridge or something like that
At the
in
Sarstoon, on the Sarstoon.
no, in
I think
Mountain
it's
Pine
there.
Ridge. They do a lot of training in Mountain Pine Ridge. And they would come out, and then I would take the picture, and they would go back into the jungle for another 3 weeks. They'd come back to Ladyville, the Air Army camp there, and then they would give them a week's leave, and a lot of them would go to Kikaka, San Pedro, or to Mexico to
Or,
because
or, or Rose Garden.
yeah, when it was alive, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I believe they have the Gurkhas in town too. Right now,
Yeah, the
so
Gorkhas are very good in the jungle.
So tell me,
yeah.
the UN met this week. The Prime Minister and Minister of what is Mr. Fonseca?
Foreign
Uh,
affairs.
Ministry of
Foreign
Foreign
Affairs.
Affairs.
They met with the Guatemalan president. Can we read anything positive into that? Or are they trying to sell Belize to Guatemala? as has been suggested by some of the pundits out there. Some of
Who's
those,
selling good to Belize? Our
sell,
minister?
yeah, selling Belize to Guatemala. That's what.
I don't think so. I would not want to think that. No,
Did
no,
Judge Price want to sell Belize to Guatemala?
I don't believe so. I think he was using the Guatemalans by flirting with them to get attention from the British.
I
Okay.
have absolutely no doubt in my mind that he was not doing that.
Did he take money from the
What? Say that
Guatemalans?
again, Joe. What's that?
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Mr. Price was never trying to sell Belize to Guatemala.
No, I don't believe that either.
Did he take money from Guatemala?
Not that I know of. What we did,
If he did, no problem. Take it.
That's what I said.
I don't know of any money that we took from Guatemala. Not the
But he never sold us out. You could take the
So
money, but not sell us out.
what they did, that was what we used to call the 10th of September was celebrated by PUP as National Day. So we come out on the 10th, but we call it National Day. And there was a time when the Guatemalans sent some truckloads of things. They were more for children, fruits and things were blow. They did send it, and it was for the PUP, part of the National Day that they were celebrating. Now, you have to watch what was happening then, and I think we are well aware of it. Remember, Belize was fighting for decolonization, so he was saying we want to get rid of the British. And whatever kind of overtures we had with Guatemala, it was nothing about selling out. It was not about selling out Belize. No, it was more because we're looking for an alliance with them.
Do you think we all grew up hearing that Guatemala and the Congo, Guatemala want Belize, but do you think that we ourselves have been a bit too guarded, belligerent, even in our hatred of Guatemala? Because there's some people out there now that they don't want to hear somebody. I posted a speech by the prime minister, by the president of Guatemala that he did in the last sitting at the UN, not this one, when he was suggesting that he'd like to settle this matter. He will abide by the decision of the court. He said that specifically, and that he wants to move on with our neighborly beliefs, with our neighborly country beliefs. So one person, and the first thing when a person said, they say, it talks Spanish, so but I don't understand it, but I know everything you said a lie. Are we too quick to jump on this maybe and not giving the opportunity for something to develop where we can move forward in peace?
I don't think we were too quick in expressing some serious concerns about Guatemala assaultive pretensions and beliefs. And I'm saying this because Guatemala is very divided here. Guatemala, as we know, is an oligarchy, runs the country. The majority of the Guatemalans evidently are in poverty, impoverished. They live on our borders. Now, from time to time, we always knew that the oligarchy was the one that was encouraging this kind of behavior and threatening us about our sovereignty and that this country belonged to them. The
We have
referendum,
to remember. Yeah, we have to remember that even though they practice democracy, the real power lies with the military. They, at the end of the day, make the decisions. So,
well, like
you
for democracy, I describe it as veneer democracy. It's just veneer.
yeah, it's a
In
showpiece.
most cases, it was the oligarchy, and the oligarchy controlled the military, and the military can make the decisions. And that was how it has been in Guatemala, and maybe still is. So this kind of conduct by the Sassoon, I think we need to be careful how we. I think that I would say presently the government is doing fairly well in dealing with it through the
I would think we've done well over the past.
through the OAS and so, but guys, there's no need to try to go there, physical confrontation with. I believe that is a result of the same oligarchy behavior. I think that then, because they control the army.
So
So
are they taunting our people? Is that it?
I think they are deliberately doing this, and I agree that I think it's not that something comes from the more liberal or the more advanced progressive politicians in Guatemala. I think it is coming from the same oligarchy behavior.
Should we push back, and can we push back? What we got for pushback with?
Well, with the pushback through diplomatic channels, which I think we should be doing. And we are
Okay.
pushing back through the OS agreements that we have. So I think I must give the government credit so far in the way they are handling it. Now, evidently, there are those who feel like, well, the government is not sort of demonstrating a kind of defiance, military defiance behavior at the border. But I don't think we should be doing that.
But can we?
Well, we
What do
can,
we have to do it with? What are we going to go
yeah,
against
we can do it, but
with what?
no, we can, but it'll be
With how?
yeah,
How?
but it'll be suicidal. We
We only got like one more year to deal with it.
We
We only
cannot.
got one more year.
So we do it.
Next year, the decision will be made, right?
We are fighting. How many are we going to get killed?
But see, I sincerely believe that a lot of people are afraid to see this matter resolved because they don't got any more relevance. They're not got nothing else to fight with now because we need that, we need something to be going. And I sincerely believe that.
That's why you are becoming too cynical now.
Yeah,
You believe that there are people
guilty as charged. Guilty as charged.
who really don't want to come to an end because they want something to the back night.
Yes. What we do, we raise my whole life to fight this battle, and now all of a sudden you tell me I can't fight this again because you're all right.
Though
No,
I think those who are doing what they are doing, I think they are sincere. Except again, they are sincerely wrong. But I think they are sincere. I don't think they have any ulterior motive, no sinister motive. I think they do it out of their patriotism, quite frankly. I think they are patriots. Except that they are misguided patriots.
yes, Mr. Gregory, I agree with you. Diplomatic sources is the only way to really confront Guatemala.
Exactly.
It's the only way we can win. We cannot confront them militarily. We can't go line with both. I'm saying what we should do that inhabit the borderline. Get people living along there, build the Mahogany Heights or Los Lagos communities in the area, but nobody seems to want to go to live there. We just want to fight for it. I suggested that maybe we could ask when the diaspora, some people in the diaspora coming home, that we could invite them to have only community out there. Why they jump all over me? I just want to get in the swamp and whatnot. They're the ones who are pushing it for the most part. There's some big voices out there that are hollering that we have to do more in the Guatemalan and this and the Guatemalan and that. The enmity is
No, but as a chairman, you are very right. I can tell you for a fact that the government of this country had made attempts to encourage Belizeans to go in those same areas by the border and develop it and cultivate it, and they were prepared to offer incentives. But again, Belizeans don't want to go there.
yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
So
And
it's up to the government.
apparently some Guatemalans do because some of them come over and plant milpa and whatnot. But
Well, you know why they do. Again, you'd have to watch, and I've been over there for many years. I was on that border for 2 years and months, rolling that border, cross and cross. And the other side of us, they move freely across, within those villages, all of those villages out there.
yeah,
So, and the other side, there is far more poverty compared. The people in PG are living far better than those in Guatemala on the border.
and they're not living that well, so that it must.
So what
But-
they do, they come over, evidently, because they find a greener pasture in the area.
Yeah, I've heard.
Those boats used to come across every day, and they come illegally from there, but we accept them, they do the clearance, and we will let them go back with clearance from us. But it's things that they are taking back, smuggling in over there, because things were difficult. These people live in poverty. Belize is a haven for them. Just like how you see some of us want to go through the back door now to get into the US for the greener pasture.
Not talk about shine. We don't talk about shine.
Yeah, they want to come here because Belize is a greener pasture for them.
I've heard Guatemalans say that they're glad that Belize is a different country because they could come over here and do better than they do over there. So I don't think that all Guatemalans want to invade Belize or want Belize to be a part of Guatemala. Some are happy with us being the ones who send their children to Benke to learn English, for instance. The ones who, many along the border who interact with each other, like you said, go back and forth, they're okay with Belize being Belize. And I think again though we have to be careful about our paranoia and not make something more than it really is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's, so that is situation. Well, Jeremy duck out Panamagan. The
No,
dog must be bite.
I agree with you. We need to guard against that exaggerated sense of suspicion, if we'll call it such.
Yeah.
It will make us do stupidity. We might do something very stupid. We can't encourage it. We need to have some calm, sober heads right now in this situation at that border. The decision is likely to come hopefully sooner than we expect. I hope so. And I expect that it will come in our favor. So why we going to do something out there that will only
To
incur
jeopardize that, to
delay,
jeopardize it. Yeah,
heart of lives, and it doesn't worth it.
exactly. Anyway, moving right along, Joe. The new commissioner, how is he doing? You will will Rosado come back, or or will Chester come back? I hear people call back for Chester. They miss out now. They say
As by Mr. Chairman, the only thing I can say is that there is an investigation in process. It has to come to an end. And the best thing to do right now is whatever the media is getting information and put it out there for the public to be informed. So I feel like the media is doing a pretty good job in at least keeping the fires burning and keeping the people informed of what is happening. So the thing to do is to wait now and see what will be the outcome. I
now
think
there are a couple of lawyers. There are a couple of lawyers taking on the case for Budna. Interesting enough, those two lawyers, one being Eamon Courtney and another being Chris Cowie, a name you might be familiar with.
are they
Uh,
taking any case and vote down?
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
thought it was Saldiva and
Which case? Are they taking on a court? They are suing the government in some matter,
but
those
they
two.
are for mornings.
For money. That is money, man. All right. Now, so I have Saldiva and one lady.
Yes.
And they were on the radio the other morning, and Nuri was asking the question, what is the end game? What are we hoping to accomplish here? Do you want to bring him back so that we can go through the proper channels and send him back the right way? Do we want to bring him back and keep him because if we the garbage, but if we garbage and stink up our house, but we don't mind because we got time, we just don't want you have one. Um, and they never did answer that. They went wrong and wrong, but there was no clear answer to that. What do you think the motive is for that lawsuit?
I'm not sure of the motive, but from what I listened to, as the litigation they want to bring was more to go against what they believe was a lack of due process. In other words, I believe the same thing that I am not going to hang myself on Budna's character and his infractions of the laws over here and over there. Those were things that have to be dealt with within a court of law. Now, the issue of his abduction, let's call it abduction for want of a better term. If he was removed from here, contrary to his constitutional rights as a citizen of this country, then to me, that matter need to be addressed. That's my concern. And if that is what the lawyers are seeking to do, I would think it's good to do.
I think that the concern is that because this happened just a day after I had a fiery exchange with the prime minister, that directive might have come from higher than the commissioner, and who knows, all the way up to the prime minister to make sure, you know what, this boy had too much problem, better we just carry him back over there and let him go. No, um,
But at this stage, it's not for me to try to second guess anybody and say, well, boy, it could have been the prime minister, it could have been the minister of police, it could have been the commissioner. I believe that let it take its course. Let us do what needs to be done to come to what really happened. So I would say that we are on the right course right now. In one, there's an investigation taking place. I see some faults that I could mention. That if I were the minister responsible at the time, one, I would have never said that is it because I gave them a deadline to do the investigation. The time was too short, the investigation was incomplete. No, to me, I wish it was not said by a minister. Because the minister should never have given the police a deadline for an investigation. That's not for the minister to do. He is not a professional in investigation.
Last year.
I would have preferred to say, well, listen, do the investigation and please do it, not in any undue haste, but I want it to be done quickly. But not give a time frame. So to me, when he says that they did an investigation, but he was not pleased with it because it was incomplete, then he tried to say, well, it was incomplete because they never had the time within which I wanted them to do it. So that to me didn't come over well. But again, I am not going to hang up on that. The point is that he's accepting that it is incomplete and therefore they need to do it properly. So therefore, I would say, fine, you are back on track. Now, what is important is that I would continue to, and I feel like one of these nights, Mr. Chairman, we should bring somebody who is senior enough and knowledgeable enough of the media and to give some time to the media house in terms of the importance of a media in a democratic society. I have a little great, me personally, have a lot of trust and confidence, not necessarily in any particular media, but in the concept of a media as a bulwark form of democracy. Just like I have the confidence.
If it works like it should, Joe.
That's what I mean. I'm not talking about the media as it is. I'm talking
Right.
about the media as it should be.
Because as it is, our propaganda tool for whoever pays the highest. Let's be real.
Yeah, but if you turn it in to, I listened to some experts who were long ago in the media in the United States. The older ones, I can't remember their name now. I didn't gone over 2 years, 3 years ago. And I was impressed where they lived through a period where the purpose of the media was to inform the populace. That was in an essence a simple thing. They were to inform the populace. He said, but today, the media has become so profit-oriented. So they are looking now more for their profit. So evidently now they are not guided by informing the public. It is what gives them the money, which sensationalism seems to be the things now that promote them bottom line. And that is, I have to say that, yes, like many human institutions that have served civilized society have become subverted. And what they were supposed to be adhering to and lived up to, they are no longer. But I come back to it only because in this particular case, I believe that it wasn't for the media, it would have been swept under the carpet. It would have been just a little breeze.
But maybe I believe it should have been. I believe this at one time, and I want to see the Prime Minister be obstinate and arrogant and stand up and say, "Why the man the back way there? You know, that I hit. I mean, if somebody carry over there, where I do."
So you would say that if he was taken there against the rule of law, against our constitution.
But again, we stick on this law, this legislation thing, and we're so conditional in our adherence to these laws because we broke it when it's convenient to us.
Mr. Chairman, I must strongly disagree with you.
I understand you would. I understand. That's all right.
I am saying that we must not see the way we are being governed. We must be aware of the way we are to be governed. And we have to begin to show where we are not being governed the way we are to.
Yeah, but I don't want to nitpick on certain things when and make other things go to slide, man. There's so much corruption. We're plagued by so much corruption, Joe.
Mr. Chairman, it's not nitpicking. Justice must not be for the few. Justice cannot and should not be for the many. Justice must be for all. That is what it must be.
Idealistic, but I mean, I wish you well with that one day.
Mr. Chairman, you are quite right. It is idealism. The whole life of any civilized society is idealism.
Yeah, we could hope for the best, but then we have to be realistic, man. You know.
No. Hold on. Let me allow me just a minute or two to explain that. Idealism must be the way to our democratic societies. No. We know the reality. The reality is no. But there's a gap between that and the idealism. Every society must have idealism. Everyone should.
Listen, listen.
Have to.
We're about to spend a lot of money. These lawyers are gonna get paid. Trust me. They will get paid, so they will make sure one way or the other, some money will come out of that. And who out of the taxpayers' coffers now that did that thing? What can we possibly get out of this good? What do you think to point out that it was wrong and yes, it was done wrong? Send one, two, the three policemen in a jail. What do we want out of this?
But I think you're beginning from a point, and again, I have to disagree with you. I do not so easily market this kind of cynicism. I do not begin on the belief that the lawyers are looking to make money. That's why they are doing this. I don't begin from that. I begin on the assumption that they are looking to uphold the law. That is where I begin.
Huh,
So, if in the process there is evidence to show that they are not, then we point that out. Well, how can you begin from the beginning and assume that they are only out to try to make money?
experience?
Yeah, but if it is only to make money, then to hell with the rule of law for true. I am not saying that one of the problems we are facing, and Mr. Chairman, I want to repeat it. Stop the let our younger people believe that the professions are ignoble professions. Let us accept that the practitioners are the ones who may do things wrong, but do not believe that the professions do not have nobility.
But
Law,
these young people aren't stupid.
huh?
They didn't see what happened. They aren't dumb.
What
They
am
they
I-
they they because it's obvious what's happening.
no, what
You
I'm
you
saying,
you would tell them to believe something that is not true.
Mr. Chairman, I am telling them to believe that law is a
There's
legitimate.
a possibility that it could work and it's meant to work well.
No,
But you can't tell them it's working well
no,
because
I am not telling them it is working well. That's exactly what I'm saying. But if you know it is not working well, you have to know how it should work. I can't tell you something is not working well unless I know how it should work. So we should begin from the position of knowing how it ought to work. And that is the idealism I'm talking about. So we must know how it ought to work.
let's
And we will measure it, we will measure how it is working against that. Then we can say, boy, no, this doesn't work the way it should. But you can't tell me without knowing how it should work that you
let,
want to know that it
let's let's look let's look at the next case because I was mixing them up and I'm sorry. But the next case I wanted to bring up also.
I
The
just wanted
money.
to say one thing about this.
Go ahead
Just
before we
very
move on.
quickly.
Yeah.
I saw it was posted on Facebook, the case that Arthur Saldivar and the other two lawyers brought up. And what I saw is that they listed several defendants, right? I mean, so like I think it was Kareem Musa and a few Rosado and a few of them. But the thing is, do they have evidence that this was a sanctioned kidnapping, or was this just some rogue cops? Because I could understand going after the rogue cops because we do have that evidence, they're on video. But how can you prove that unless somebody within the government says
Fess up.
is going to be
Fess
a
up.
witness? How do we know that Johnny, Kareem, and Rosado sanctioned this abduction? Where do they have that proof? Because that's what their case would. That's why they would be suing government of Belize, right? Is because the ministers were involved in this abduction. Otherwise, if it was just the police, they're not the government. They take orders from the government. So
But
I don't know what is their case. Well, how can they sue the government if it hasn't been proven yet, or there's no evidence to show that these ministers sanctioned the kidnapping?
I've said from the very beginning that the defense, I believe, of these three ministers, these three police that are being accused, if they are police, because we know one are police, that you know what, this law, there's a law that we can't have on a fugitive. This man has been a fugitive from the law, albeit serving in Guatemala, which is we don't want to consider a friendly country, and that because our government was not doing it, it was our duty as law enforcers. We're hired to uphold the law. Then we took it into our hands and do it ourselves, and thing done. So they could sue them then, and maybe But all right, what's the penalty for violating something like that? Doing that on your own. How you gonna fight that in court? So
That's what
I
I'm
don't.
asking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see. And where's the strength of that case, Joe?
If there is a reasonable suspicion in the case of a lower level, or if there is if there's probable cause which is at a higher level, it is on the basis of that the legal actions is being taken. Now, to answer Mr. Spooner's question, is that under the Constitution, ministers are responsible for all the departments under their portfolio. So, if there was and I'm giving you an example of my own experience, if there was a blood transfusion done with blood that was tainted, I am responsible as the Minister of Health. I am responsible, but I am not guilty. I'm responsible, and I must account to the people for it. We must find out the culprit, and then we deal with the culprit. But when the litigation comes, it will come one to the Attorney General, always the first defendant, and all the others who were to be responsible for the department, beginning with the minister and with the prime minister. I mean, sorry, with the minister of police. So the charges are brought against them, yes, as the defendants. It's not that they themselves necessarily may have been guilty. I don't believe that the Attorney General could have ever been guilty in the Munnings case. But the Attorney General has to be a defendant because he is a representative of the government. Now, coming back to the issue, it is to a case going before the court. I think it is going before the court or is before the court to determine whether Budnar rights under the Constitution were violated. That's what it will be. So it
Let's
is for the court now to decide.
let's go to the Munnings case, because now, and my concern with that is the two lawyers in that case that are representing Mullins in his lawsuit against the government. The one that lead our government business in the Senate, and the next one is still in the Senate, and but the Prime Minister was talking about it yesterday that he's still going to advise him and still be an integral part of his government. Now, is there some conflict of interest there somewhere, or something not sung right there?
I don't see anything wrong with it when you examine it for what it is in terms of the law.
But you to sue the government for that you're a part of, for money that will be have to pay it by the taxpayers, not them, nor the government gonna pay that money. None of the people who are gonna find guilty, they're gonna pay that money. Whatever money is charged to those people will have to be paid by the government from the coffers.
Now, let me explain that to you then, according to the Constitution, because it's the rule of law, supremacy of the law. Once you become either elected representative, appointed as a minister, or you become a senator and you're appointed as a minister,
Mhm.
it is in no way stop you from your business in the case of a law firm, in the case of an accounting firm.
But it has to, Joe, if you're going against the very government that you are a part of.
Yeah, but
That makes no sense to me.
yeah, but if you let me to finish, you will see where there is sense in it. Now, if I am an accountant, I have my accounting firm, and I am a practicing member of that firm. Of course, when I am in that cabinet as a minister, and any matter comes up that my firm will be responsible for, I have to declare my interest. But it does not stop me and my firm from representing a citizen. So to me, if the two of them, one was a minister of finance, I mean a minister of state in finance, the other was a senator, and both of them were senators. But that is in no way prohibit them.
Joe, you're gone on, but you say you make it clear, but you didn't.
Well, what
Because
It's not
if
making sense.
if you as an accountant,
I am saying to you simply,
now hold on, let me say it. Because you
Right.
say that as an accountant and even as a government, you can still represent somebody, but represent somebody against the government that you're a part of.
no,
You
you
don't
are
see nothing wrong with that, Joe.
no. You are not representing the person as a government that you are a part of in the sense that you are seeking. Is that here is a law firm. Yes, one of them has
Both
resigned.
of them are in the government.
Yeah,
The Senate, one of the upper chamber, if you will.
yes. But what you are suggesting to me is that because they are
Uh-huh.
a part of the government in the sense of being a senator,
Exclude
being,
yourself. Exclude.
being a minister, that they cannot have their law firm representing a case against the government. That's
Yeah. In fact, I don't think they should allow from if they technically high position in government, they should be behold. Then they get paid to be a part of that government and handsomely. They don't need to be out there fighting no case like that. And then you fight for a case against the government. So if you win now, that the government will have to pay you and these people that you represent. Something
true.
wrong, Joe.
Yes, but what is wrong about it is not them. It is what you are thinking is wrong. What you are thinking is wrong doesn't make it wrong. And you have to try to explain yourself.
Boy, you're such a politician, boy.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no. You say again, your insinuation is a little bit, I think you're disparaging politics as a profession.
It just not sound right. It not sound right, Joe. It
Yes, but
sound wrong.
Mr. Spooner, nothing wrong
Yeah.
if it doesn't sound right. If it doesn't sound right, that doesn't mean that it isn't right.
Nothing
Why
wrong.
somebody say the guy doesn't?
Nothing wrong with it not sounding right.
No, no,
I
no, no,
love it. I love it, Joe.
no. I think we need to. I think we owe our obligation to our listeners, not to leave them with a belief of something which we damn well know is not so. I can tell you, boy, and tell you what.
What do we know is not so?
Let me tell you how I would put it.
It
Boy, I'll tell
smells
you.
of conflict of interest.
No. It may appear as a conflict of interest to you, and nothing wrong if, in your opinion, you see it as that. That is not wrong. What is wrong when you try to make it as though it is in fact a conflict of interest? If the law,
Joe.
hold on, man, hold on.
Really, Joe?
You want to tell me, if it is wrong for them to do it, then why is the court entertaining it?
Oh man, because they're not part of the same system.
Yeah, they're all a family.
They want a family with the live there.
No, man, wait. No, we are becoming too reckless now. Please, I don't make go that far, man. Let me
No,
go
but
back.
you become too defensive, Joe.
I am defensive of what I believe the Constitution is in fact saying. That's what I defend. I
But
am
but
not
but,
defending
but
the
you know,
person. I am not defending the person per se. I am saying that every one of us has rights under that Constitution. And
Joe.
that is what
Did you explain why it's not a conflict of interest?
I
That
don't need to
a lawyers firm, two of them are working for the government, but now we're going to be suing the government.
All right, let me
Did
ask
you-
you the
Is
question.
there no conflict of interest there?
Let's clarify that clearly. The question is, do I believe it's a conflict of interest? No. Tell me why you believe it's a conflict of interest.
Oh no, but you can't turn
I
that
just
question
said it.
wrong like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let
And he asked you the same question.
but let me answer you then, since you
Why
cannot.
you don't think it's a conflict of
That
interest?
is
You
a
sound
conflict.
like Charlie Kirk. You've been watching Charlie Kirk too much. You sound just like him. He turned things around.
You're quite right. Charlie Kirk was a damn problem. Unfortunately,
But the man just called you a problem then, Joe.
everything that Charlie Kirk did against others, exactly what was done to him. So we'll leave that alone.
Joe,
Let's come back to what you believe is the conflict of interest. If
Well,
you
I
tell
don't explain it. G.
hold
Mike
on.
has explained why he thinks
if
it's a
you tell
conflict.
me that there is a conflict of interest, it's either because you see it as a violation of the law. No, if it's not a violation of the law, but it's simply a violation of ethics, and you feel why it's a conflict of interest, then I cannot disagree with you on that.
more than that,
Then
there's
so.
a saying. There's a saying, and you might be familiar with it. Justice doesn't only have to be done; it has to seem to be done. This doesn't seem like justice being done to me. That's all I'm saying there. And if you show me where you think this is justice being done and seem to be done, then I'll listen to you for as long as you want to talk. But
Yes,
I'm not hearing you coming up with any concrete reason why this is not a conflict of interest.
Mr. Chairman, let me give you an example then, if I could help with an example. I am the Minister of Health. Tainted blood was in fact transfused. Now, if I, as the minister, knowing that the government is liable for damages done, I, as a minister, decide that I will protect the government because I'm a part of it, and I will cover it up. That to me is what is wrong. No,
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
if I come forward,
That's
no,
a
hold
far
on,
stretch.
hold on. I
That's a
come
far
forward
stretch.
and I call a press conference and I let them know that from the evidence we have, a wrong was done, and we
Right.
need to make good on that wrong.
And
Now,
and hold up, you happen to be a lawyer, and these people now that get the tainted blood hire you to be their lawyer
don't,
against the government that gave them the tainted blood.
don't
How
let
about
me
that?
now let me finish. Let me finish. Now, what the people did, because we made an offer, we accepted that we were wrong. No, we have to make good on the wrong. And we met with them and we had a settlement out of court because we were wrong. No, that doesn't mean no that if there are two ministers in government, not elected, but even if they were, and happen to be two lawyers, and believe that a person who come to their institution, their law firm, because they believe that they were wrong, you must tell me that if they believe that the government was wrong, that they should not take the case because
Not if they're working for the government.
no more so if you are working for the government.
Are you kidding me, Joe?
Are you kidding me that you are telling me you will cover up wrongs because you are working for
There's
the
no cover up, and there's nothing here. They don't have to be involved. There are thousands of more lawyers in Belize that could be taking that
all right?
case.
All right, you could say no. What you could say no, why I think what they should have done was not to take the case. Maybe they shouldn't have done it. No, if you believe they shouldn't have done it based on what you believe the ethical standard, not law, nothing to do with the law, nothing
But
to do
that's
with
all I'm saying, though.
so that I'm saying to you, if in your judgment you believe that it was not a violation of the law, then make it clear that they did not violate a law. But I don't think that
But again, you're gonna lean on this law thing so
because
stringently, man.
the rule of law, Mr. Chairman, is the bulwark of our civilized society, my brother.
Do you
Yeah,
think
but
the
one
law firm
convenient.
approached Mullins, or Mullins approached the law firm?
Oh, no, that's a good question. Did you hear that, Joe?
Yeah, but I can't answer that. I don't know who approached you. I can.
Because would
I
that
could,
make a difference then? Would you think? Do you see it differently then?
and let me tell you how I think it did happen, but I cannot vouch for it. I don't think Courtney and Coy approached that man because they wanted to go for money against the government. I do not believe that. Neither do I believe that the Commissioner of Lands sinister and deliberately wrong Mr. Mullins. I don't think she did it. I believe she made a mistake. I think she did from what I saw. I don't think she did it. I think there are times when we have to come around and try to look at each other, not from a biased prism, not from that divisive feeling what we share, this heavily dividing feeling with each other.
And neither from a blind loyalty, neither, though. Don't
Not
you
from
think?
blind loyalty. We should not be
And
using
AI doesn't agree with you,
we
Joe.
should not
They
be
say it's
using
a
blind
conflict
loyalty.
of
If you tell
interest.
me, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Spooner, if you said to me, why I could agree with you that there is nothing wrong legally by what they are doing, but I believe it would be better for them not to have done it. And the conversation ends.
I don't think the conversation could end that easily on that because
But
I think it's more than that. I think it's immoral.
I agree with it. Already done.
I think it's immoral. Let's hear what AI has to say. Jeremy, what AI to tell you?
Okay, let me do right here. It says their position could be perceived as giving them an unfair advantage. Ethic concerns, their dual roles might raise questions about impartiality and fairness. Um, it says recusals, senators might need to recuse themselves from certain cases or government decisions. Transparency about their law firm involvement and potential conflicts. Ethnic guidelines, strict guidelines might be necessary to ensure fair representation. These are just some of them. There's a whole list of things.
It makes a whole lot of sense to me.
I think it makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense to me too.
I think they should have recused themselves from this and not even be involved in it.
Yes, if that's an opinion again, I don't have a problem with that opinion.
You're talking about two senators now.
So read all of them, everything, go over them if you want again. I agree with everything what you said. I'm not against that.
The question I asked AI was, can senators who own a law firm represent a person suing the government? And it says, it started off before I listed the other thing. Senators with law firms may face conflicts of interest when representing clients suing the government. And then it mentioned some potential issues. And it went and it listed those issues I mentioned to you.
All right. Did any of the issues say that it was illegal or it was unconstitutional? Did any of them? They cannot.
Um,
They cannot. Any one of them be. Everything you said just now, none of them unconstitutional. They are all have to do with
Joe,
your reception. That's what they are.
Joe, I can see you at the pearly gates arguing with Jesus that you better get in because you never broke no law, and the law not said that you can't get in. There's no law that says you can't get in. Seriously, and again, my problem is when we lean so heavily on this on legality that's supposed to be so sacrosanct and almost impeccable, but if we look by every other area and it's not that there's so much that we tend to just look on the things that's close to us, that's personal, to the way we feel, just like you're saying, the same bias that you're saying we should avoid is what I find that people who defend these things are grabbing onto, man.
I asked the question, is it illegal for senators who own a law firm represent a person suing the government? Now, it doesn't mention Belize, but it does say it's generally prohibited for senators to represent individual in cases against the government due to conflict of interest laws.
No,
Do we
Mr.
have conflict
Spooners,
of interest laws in Belize?
Mr. Spooners, let me say this again to you and the chairman. If it was illegal, they couldn't do it. They can't.
A lot of things in Belize are illegal and they do it.
But,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Protecting his
Yeah.
family of
Hello.
politicians.
You're taking me for full.
Mr.
You're taking me for full.
show me where the Constitution or any provisional law is saying what they are doing is illegal.
That's not what you said. That's not what
I
you
am
said.
saying to you that
You said they couldn't do it if it was illegal. But they can do it. They've done a lot of things that are illegal. And I talk about them too, yeah. But these representatives of government in both parties, there's so much that so we have no corruption. Is that what you're saying? Everything hunky dory.
you're missing a very important point.
Isn't there a law in the Constitution that a convicted criminal cannot be a representative in the House?
Yes. Yes. But
Okay, well, we got one that was the leader of the opposition.
yeah, but it doesn't meet what that Constitution has presently does not meet him. It has to be for a certain period, and it has to be under certain circumstances. I think what is happening to us, gentlemen, I think we need to take time out, or we need to maybe take time out and discuss the Constitution. The reason why I'm saying this, it's not the Constitution that is sacred, you know. What is sacred is our natural rights.
They seem to be right thing.
Our natural rights is what is sacred. No,
They seem to be right.
what happens in our evolution of moving from a state of nature to a state of a society is where we develop constitutions. And the Constitution is there to defend and protect those rights. The Constitution didn't create them. The Constitution didn't create those rights. It didn't. The Constitution is to protect them.
So you're gone off tangent there, no? Because they explain nothing to us.
What I am
The
explaining
question that we're faced with is:
I am saying
is it not if it's illegal, but because it just doesn't seem right? And can you explain to us why it would be right for this to happen?
Mr. Chairman, let me try bring it back. If you two were to say, listen, all right, I agree, but there is nothing illegal that they are doing. But I don't think it looks good for them to be doing it. I don't think it looks ethical. I don't. There's nothing more to talk. I could say, boy, well, it could be true.
But I can't. That basically what we're saying, Joe.
Mr. Chairman, that's why I was coming around to try to get you all to separate. Again, I'm coming back to separate what we see as illegal and what we see as maybe unethical but not illegal. That is what I was trying to do. That's all. I am saying to you.
You're saying to us that the only thing important
I am
is
saying
the legality of it.
I am saying to you that they have a right, meaning legally, to do what they are doing. No, if you tell me but I don't think it looks good for them to be doing that different. I can't argue with that. That's our opinion you have, and the opinion is not a stupid opinion. It's not an uninformed opinion. You are simply saying that as ministers at the time, which one was, and as a senator, they should not have been doing it, and they shouldn't be doing it because it seems like a conflict. I can, but I was trying to tell you that.
They're actually both senators, right?
Yeah, but let us. You see, we spend too much time now discussing whether they have the right to do what they are doing, or whether they should not be doing it on ethical grounds, not the law, and that's different. But that was not the issue to me. I thought that the issue would be whether Munnings may be right or wrong in what's happened. That is what was more important.
What do you think? Was he right? Or is he right or wrong in what's happening?
From what I gathered, and I mentioned it to you all last week, is that what seems to have happened, that Munnings has his business structured in such a way that what was being charged, the business tax being charged, should not have been charged. And the things then that he was collecting money for.
Having structured his business in that way, did he have a responsibility to outline that to the income tax people and explain to them what is going on? Because did they just spring all this on him, or did this something that they were going through a period of time?
Well,
And
you'll be asking me some questions which I am not in a position to answer them. But what I could do is this. It seems to me that Munnings, and not alone, most of these small business, Munnings was a small business. They cannot afford to pay professionals the money that they think that they would have to pay to have the business set up properly. So what they do, they go about doing it the way they think it should be done. Now the tax department come up on you, and the tax department made an assessment based on what they saw. So
isn't there another term that says ignorance of the law is no excuse? Is that not, we don't hold that as true anymore?
well, to me, I
Depends
can't.
on who it's applied to. Yeah.
No, you don't have anything. I think it
You're
does.
wrong, Spooner. You're wrong. Yes, wrong, Spooner.
Yeah, but I think that we have to begin to try to see what ought to be done and what is not being done, rather than they take everything to mean that why we can't do that because they're corrupt, we can't do this because this that. That is not the way we discuss government. I think we have to begin to look on it. All right, fine. It is my opinion that Munnings may not have had proper accounting for what he was doing.
Right.
As a result of that, caused the tax department to have taxed him an income that he should not have been taxed.
And did they pursue the proper channels, which is this law that we talk about, that we have to adhere to so rigidly?
I can only speak about the issue to the extent that I have some information. No, if they did that to him and they assess him, even though he may have been assessed unlawfully at the time,
right,
and then he goes to court and he agrees with the court that he have to pay the money, and then he defaulted in the payment. When he defaulted, then they go for what you call a JDS, a judgment debtor summons. But when they go for the judgment debtor summons, it means that if you don't pay, you're going to jail. So Munnings went to jail because he couldn't pay. Then they make some arrangement and he came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was where apparently the professional advice came in. And it was then it seemed that they found out that his business was set up in such a way that he did not document it the way he should have. For example.
So then the government is not at fault.
No, that doesn't
He should have sued whoever gave him the advice.
I would think so.
No. Yeah, again, you missed the point.
Joe,
I
am saying to you,
I see that anytime you come,
he's defending the establishment.
Yeah, and every time you come with that, I am saying to you, Joe, I get very nervous.
Let me finish explaining to you. If you, out of ignorance, did something that you did not know better, Once you can prove that what you did is what is in fact not what you should have been assessed at, then the tax department will have had the obligation to review the assessment. That's what I'm saying to you.
Were they harsh on him? Were they too harsh on him?
Hold on. Whether they're harsh or unharsh, if they, in their opinion, insist that that money is owing, that is our assessment. No, that person, that citizen, that taxpayer has a right to take a case to the court. So no, the case, I believe, is going to the court, from what I understand. So my thing now is to wait for the judgment of the court.
And my thing is that I find it just seemingly improper that two senators of government they represent somebody in a lawsuit against government, and AI is telling us that it's not only improper but in many cases illegal. Maybe not in Belize, and this is what we have in question here. Is it okay in Belize to do things like that? Is it normal? Because the way our government runs, much on corruption, and you might want to argue with me on that, but it seems then that makes it okay, and that the way things are normally done in Belize. I would hope not. I would hope
You
not.
know that they're probably professional lawyers, or they're laughing at my take on it. But it would be nice if they would call in or explain to us all how come it's not a conflict of interest. You know,
Because Joe have tried for the last half hour and he has not been able to. Yeah, he doesn't. You didn't do a good job on that, Joe.
Chairman, let me remind you of something, which I think we should have. I can give you explanation, but I can't give understanding. That have to come from you.
No. Now you're insult.
Now you're
insult. That one insult. I take that. I take umbrage. I take umbrage.
No, it's up to you to understand it. I can't give you understanding.
But just because I don't agree with you does not mean I'm not understanding what you're saying, Joe. I'm just not agreeing with you.
I'm not saying I'm giving you explanations.
Which are you now to equate with understanding? Your explanation is an understanding, but I'm not getting the understanding. I'm getting the explanation. Is that it?
The explanation I'm giving you.
Right.
To the best of my knowledge, these two senators, these two ministers are not violating the Constitution. No. If in your opinion it is an ethical issue, then fine. That's an opinion, and I would not.
Well, all right. So we're unsure that. I find it improper. Jeremy, thanks for coming. We'll see you next week. Joe, with you, the always, sure how long you stay and wind up the anyway. Guys, next week, any final words? Anything we miss? Anything you want to touch upon? Let me say happy birthday to Mr. Bertie Ellis. You know what they're saying? Celebrating 109 years.
And you look good, 109.
And I like what they said when they ask him, what is your advice to people who want to get old like you and be? He said, be good. Simple.
Well,
be good.
Today I read of one that died recently at 117, who lived the oldest in the world. He's from America originally, but he moved to Spain at 7.
Well, Mr. Bertie, look for catch that.
And he died at 117. And he gave her life, what she did and what not. And you know what it came down to? Everything that we knew. It's just that we don't want to do it. But of course, they accept that some of it is genetics. Some of it may be genetics, and not just your lifestyle. But your lifestyle is very important.
And imagine if Mr. Bertie had an abortion. Thank God if she didn't. Can a man live 109 wonderful years? Listen, guys.
Yeah.
Next week, same time, same place. See why we're done here.
Good night, everybody.
Again, introducing a new style, them call the link bang.
Bang, 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 bang.
Violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the link bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Link bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, link bang. Big bully in a pen, link bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, link bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, link bang. Big bully in a pen, link bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. From Baka Jungle all the way to Yara, Corozal and Dangriga. Check Pamali's sister Julia, teaching the tourists the key kaka. Through the alley and the plaza, no jump past 41 mile marker. If you want something extra, I want you that feel librata. Play for a while, but now I'm back again, introducing a new style, them call the link bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a